Hello.
Oh, and we are live. As everybody can notice, it's just me in English tonight. This will be a fun podcast because I know how me and English like to attack each other. So tonight, we've got 5 in the chat. Can somebody say hello so I know that you can hear us?
Hello.
Hi, Claire. Eric. I've put them in a home. Hi, Eileen.
Luby.
Hey, Claire. 2 seconds.
Yup, here she goes.
I'm just.
Hello, Annette. Hello, Bill. Hello, Robert.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm here. I'm back. Hey, Bill. Hey, Net. Hi, Robert. So, tonight I thought of a good subject because me and Ian have a mutual interest in Aleister Crowley for different reasons, obviously. And I thought, why not do him? Now, I do realise that this might not be to people's tastes, Aleister Crowley. Because when you mention Aleister Crowley, you get a lot of people going, and I can understand why. I really can understand why. Oh, there's a baldy bastard in the chat. Hello. Hey, Dan. Hey, James. So do I. I've been waiting for this. So I'm just going to share out. So, Ian, how's your week been, my darling?
Oh, usual busy week. Suffering from a dodgy shoulder, but there you go.
Oh.
But
I could.
hopefully it get better eventually.
I'll stretch it out for you. I'll say, fuck it, why not? Let me stretch it out for you. So I'm going to let Ian, right? Ian, you tell me about your experience with Aleister Crowley.
My experience with Aleister Crowley, well, let's just say the first full apparition I ever saw was Mr. Crowley himself, although I didn't know that for many, many years. But I grew up in a house that he frequented. It also, the place where he died is basically just up the road from it. And
Here we are.
pretty much a lot of the places that he...
Hey, Baldy.
A lot of the places where he tended to summon things and that are all within a 5-minute location of the house. So that's my first-hand experience with Mr. Crowley, and unfortunately, he's followed me a bit ever since. Tended to turn up at locations I investigate that he had some connection to. So,
oh God. Hey, William. I must admit, I never ever heard of Aleister Crowley. And it wasn't until I was doing an investigation where I was obviously just a researcher, and I was researching this hotel in Scotland in Peebles. Now, Peebles is known as a witch town. A lot of funny goes on in Peebles, because there's a few places where I've investigated, and I don't know if it's because of the ley lines, but 2 seconds, sorry. I thought Tommy Lee was coming out there. So obviously when I was researching this hotel, Aleister Crowley came up, and when I went back to obviously the owner of the team, I said, told him what obviously I'd found, and when I mentioned Aleister Crowley, he stopped dead in his tracks and he went, do you know who Aleister Crowley is? And I was like, no. I says, who's Aleister Crowley? And he was like, Aleister, go and research him. And when I researched him, I was mind blown by him. I was actually mind blown by him. I mean, if you think about it, he was an English occultist. He was he founded the religion of Thelma, and he identified himself as a prophecy. And when I read what he was into and things like that, I was like, holy God. So the research that I found in this place that was connected with Aleister Crowley was when obviously hi, Chillingham Castle. Oh, Eileen, I didn't know that. Hi, Nicola. He was obviously there was said to be a vortex in this hotel, and it was created by Aleister Crowley. Now, everybody knows Aleister Crowley was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And there's no any place I don't think that Aleister Crowley wasn't. Now, if you look in Scotland, he did have a place up in Boleskine, which is in Inverness. In Boleskine House, he lived in, and obviously there was a fire, and it burnt down. And everybody knows that it was rebuilt, and Jimmy Page bought it. And what's the freaky thing about Boleskine House was that Jimmy Page had the exact same problem as what Crowley did. And it does make me think, and I know this is just weird, this is me thinking outside the box, to have the exact same thing happen to Aleister Crowley, was there something there, paranormal, that created that?
Yeah, does make you wonder, doesn't it? The house that he actually lived in down here, or just up the road from me, that actually caught fire as well. That's after his death, but in recent years, and they've rebuilt over it.
He was misunderstood. Yeah, William. Hiya, Holly.
I mean, why Bill's saying he's misunderstood? In his early years, I would say Crowley did a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
He had his finger in a lot of pies. He was involved in Scientology in the beginning, and he was to do with the secret cipher of the Euphonauts. He was involved in all that, where they were supposedly in contact with this alien. He seems to crop up. You know, you find all these little stories here, there, and everywhere, and he seems to crop up in them all. And it wasn't until later life where a trip to Wales. After this trip to Wales, he sort of went dark side. And unfortunately for me, he came back to Hastings.
Well,
and most of what he did here was a bit.
I mean, I must admit, when Crowley is one of the ones he's been everywhere, there's nothing, as you say, that he hasn't. I mean, his belief system in Thelma has been described by scholars as actually a religion. More of a youth religious movement. He had the Book of Law, which actually I've got in my bedroom. Which was see, we both got the Book of Law.
I bet there's quite a few books about him you haven't seen though.
Probably. If I actually had the.
When I actually get my office set up, then I'll have all the books on the shelf so you can have a look.
Oh, definitely, I would love that. Which he composed in 1904 as its centre text. I mean, Thelma took shape after the years of 1904. When you read his autobiography, he claims that the purpose in life had been to bring Aryan wisdom to Europe and to restore paganism in a purer form. though what he meant by paganism was unclear, shall we say. Crowley also wrote a fourth book of magic about a great pagan Umbra fleet. But he was just, when you look at him, there's advantages and disadvantages to him. I mean, Crowley believed in the objective existence of magic, but instead of spelling it with a C, he put a K at the end of it, which is now how some people spell it. He provided different different definitions of this term over his career. In his book, Magic in Theory and Practice, Crowley defined magic as the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. He also told his disciple, Cal, that magic is getting into communication with individuals who exist in a higher plane than ours. Crowley saw magic as a third way between religion and science. So yeah, he was, and let's no deny that Aleister Crowley wasn't into sex magic. I mean, that played an important role in Crowley's ideas about magic and his practice here. And he's been described as being centred to Thelma. He outlined 3 forms of sex magic. And let's just say that he did it all different ways, shall we say. And he argued that such acts could be used to focus the magician's will into a specific goal, such as financial gain or personal creative success. For Crowley, sex was treated as sacrament, with the consumption of sexual fluids. Sorry to be a wee bit graphic here, folks, about his sex magic, but let's not beat around the bush. This was also often manifested as a cakes of light, a biscuit containing either, well, you can imagine, ladies and men's fluids. Everybody's closing their ears on this one. Hello, Ben. How you doing? Thanks for joining. I knew you would come in, Ben, because it's about Aleister Crowley. Hi, Eileen. Thanks to Aleister Crowley, I learnt more to the pagan religion. Rita's back. Hey, Sam. Sam saw Crowley. Rita, sex magic, no room with that. I wouldn't know. I didn't do it. I believe he loved the Egyptian stuff to look at his symbols, a lot of triangles. I do believe that's right. I'm closing my ears. Yep. Hi, Laura. With animal orgies, his wife was in it as well as his second wife. He thought he was God.
Well, yeah, he self-proclaimed himself the king of witches. Just want to address something that Wild Bill said. He said not to associate Crowley with Scientology. I mean, he was involved right at the beginning, but he walked away because he didn't like the way they were doing things. So he wasn't formally a Scientologist at all, but he was there at the beginning and walked away, which is why he then set up Thelma, because that was more him rather than what they were doing.
Annette wouldn't fancy tea and biscuits at his house. I actually would, because I would be one person I would love to interview. If only some people would take the time to actually learn about magic itself and understand what it actually is. I couldn't agree more, William, especially when it comes to the dark side. Scott's a way to find a Bible. You haven't sat in the church for years. Don't you be at it.
Yeah, it might burn in his hands.
Are you right? He sits down and there would be a rocket up his ass. Hubbard used some of Aleister Crowley's magic in Scientology.
Yeah. But I mean, it's funny as well, because they say that Crowley, he died penniless in his last days in a guest house. Now, it's true, he died in a house just up the road from me. But he wasn't penniless because he actually owned a house in Bexhill, which he used for his rituals, seances, etc., but never where he was actually living. So the fact that they claim to make out he was, I would say, is definitely not right. Because if you own a house, you ain't penniless.
Oh, well, that's true. Hiya, Kelly. Kelly's asking how we are. Not too bad. I've something wrong with my leg. It's been really hurting the last month or so. Oh, God, Kelly, hope you're okay. Scott says, Lois, I sat at church last week outside the gate across the road, round the corner, and I was fine. Aye, I bet you fucking were. Thelma is a Western got social spiritual. Yep.
Yeah.
You are taught how to separate from reality and then return. Takes years of training, to be honest. Whatever people may think of him, he certainly had a massive. He certainly did.
Yep.
This is one of these subjects, a taboo when it comes to Aleister Crowley, because there is a lot of people that kind of go, oh, when you mention his name, and it's like, God, get a life. I mean, on the basis of these teachings in the Book of Law, Crowley described a pattern of the identities taken from the ancient Egyptian, which is really quite interesting. I mean, before, during his life and after it, Crowley's been widely described as a Satanist. Usually, Crowley stated he did not consider himself a Satanist, nor did he worship Satan, as he did not accept the Christian view in which Satan was believed to exist. He nevertheless actually used satanic symbols. For instance, by describing himself as a beast, the beast 666, and referred to the whore of Babylon in his work. Once later life, he sent anti-Christmas cards to his friends. Now, I could only imagine what would be on those Christmas cards.
Yeah.
He also, in some of his writings, Crowley occasionally identified himself as our Lord God the Devil at one occasion. So he is quite an interesting guy. I mean, he's very, very intelligent. He done intelligence work, Crowley, didn't he?
Yeah. He had connections to MI5 and MI6.
Yeah. But okay, guys, got to go to work. I'm a vamp. Thanks, Sam. Have a good time. I'm permanently separated from reality, I can imagine. I never said he was a Satanist.
No, he's definitely he was an occultist. He was more. He may have dabbled in such things, and it was his thirst for knowledge that led him down these paths. That was his main thing. It was thirst for knowledge. He wanted to know. He wanted the answer. Yep. He just at some point had some extreme ways of getting there, but there's plenty of things he's supposed to have summoned in this town, and if you come down here, you can probably sense it.
Probably. One of them was me. I was sent to annoy the shit right out you. What did you do to him? William says, I have around 50 books on Crowley and rare papers written by him. Some of my occult friends on my list have acquired one or two of Crowley's most personal possessions. Oh, Ian, you've got to show everybody yours.
Yeah, it's over there at the moment.
You're like, I'm not touching that shit, because
every time I do, something goes on in the house. Yeah. I have his tarot cards over there and his rune sticks from his house in Bexhill.
Oh, Wild Bill, then I'm all in. Practicing the old arts. But he's definitely, as I said, he did do intelligence work. It was actually suggested that Crowley was actually a spy for the British Secret Services. And that among all the other things, he joined the Golden Dawn under their command to monitor the activities of Mayer, who was known to be a Carlist. Spence suggested that the conflict between mayors and the London Lodge, for the temple was part of an intelligence operation. I could just imagine Crowley being a spy. I really could imagine him being a spy.
I mean, the Golden Dawn, the cemetery in Hastings, was actually built by them, and the symbols are still in the windows. And it was him falling out with them that they refused to cremate his mother here, and they refused to cremate him here. They were both sent to Eastbourne because they wouldn't cremate him here.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's bad. Practicing the old arts. Praise the Dark Lord. You're right, praise him. I have a couple of his grimmers. Hiya, Kat. Welcome to the show. But yeah, this is what I mean though, he gets a really hard time. But as you say, right, is it Kat's birthday? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kat. Happy birthday to you. There you go, my love. I'll sing you a happy birthday. Can't sing worth a shit, but I'll sing it. Journals, spell books, whatever you like to call them, very fragile to even try to read, handled with kid gloves. I can imagine. I used to be a spy, but then my hole in the wall got discovered. Listen, you spent too many times at glory holes.
That's how we knew George Michael.
See, I'm not the only one that can. I went into the graveyard at Cowley's place. I get pushed out of the gates. That's not good, Kat. That's not good. I mean, Cowley, you can't deny, right, that Cowley has remained an influence figure, both among occultists and in popular culture, particularly that of Britain. But also there's other parts of the world, if you think about it, that still have a thing about Crowley. I mean, in 2002, a BBC poll placed Crowley 73 in the list of the 100 greatest Britons.
Yeah, well, it did do a lot of good.
Well,
yeah, a lot of people don't realise that he did do a lot of good.
He
might have done quite a few dodgy things near the end of his life, but can't do everything.
Maybe, I mean, if you look about it, right, maybe he just thought, do you know what, that I'm on my way out, fuck this, why should I stay good?
I mean, I don't know if you know it, but there's actually, he put a curse on this town, and he actually cursed his doctor, and 3 days later the doctor died.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, so whatever he would do, he obviously had a lot of intent in it and knew what he was doing.
Well, that is very, very true. Be right back. It's all right, Holly. Now that's funny. Losh, you mean gory holes? Listen, I know it's all right holes you. Nope, that was 4 p.m. in the afternoon. That's not so good. Sorry, BBC called him a Satanist too, which he wasn't. But see, the problem is, William, this is a really big thing where everybody gets called a Satanist. It's mental. Even when he was bad, he was doing good in a hole. I suppose, Wild Bill, if you say it like that, if he had came forward in a present time, would he have seen differently? I don't think he would have, to be honest. He would have probably went, fuck the whole of humanity. I did a SLS in the graveyard. Oh my god, the place is active. Caught figures running, coming out of graves. Holy shit, Cat.
Cat, which graveyard are you talking about?
But I mean,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I know
what's to do with cocaine? Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me. He's definitely some man. He is. He really is. But during World War One, he resided in the United States, where he contributed to a pro-German newspaper. And then he's been to Italy. He's been to Sicily, where he actually converted a house into a sanctuary. He called it the Abbey of Thelma. During this time, he wrote the Diary of a Drug Fiend in 1922, which was published as a novel, but was said to have been based on personal experience. The death of a young follower in Sicily, he alleged after he'd done rituals, led Crowley in the British popular press as the wickedest man in the world, and to his expulsion from Italy in 1923, having exhausted his inheritance on travelling and other things. Crowley moved back to England in the early 1930s. His last book was 1944, the Book of Thoth, in which he interpreted a tarot card deck called the Thoth.
Which I have. That's actually his set he designed.
How do you sleep at night knowing that you've got...
Because I've got black Himalayan salt sitting on them.
Well, I suppose you've got that. Well, if you think about it, right, Crowley is to the occult, which is Tolkien is to fantasy. He set the stage that everyone else plays in. Basically, if you dabble in things, right, dark and dastardly, Aleister was probably there first. Yeah. He's already done it. That's the thing about it. Don't feel bad I've been called Satan and not Santa. I doubt that very much. The one beside Crowley's outside Inverness.
I'll tell you what, Kat, you want to come down to Hastings and you'll be shocked by our cemetery. Many mediums I've taken in there and investigators have all been stunned. The fact you go in there and mediums, I've told them as we walked in, it's like a supermarket, and they don't believe it till they walk in, and they're just everywhere. And that's all to do with his curse.
Wicked, it depends on who you ask, that's true. Jimmy Page and Robert Plant had a chance to live there while recording an album. I went to the railway cottage, oh my god, wow. Jimmy Page was fascinated with Crowley. He was well taken by Crowley. I mean, he's had Crowley stuff.
A lot of musicians were. You've only got to look at the Beatles. Sgt. Pepper's, he's on the cover of that. He's on Michael Jackson's History cover. There were quite a few magicians that were taken by him.
Yeah, Jimmy Page did buy the house and had the same circumstances as Crowley. Santa is the anagram of Satan. I never thought of that, William. Cat says, very active. I'm starting to travel further afield now. That's the best way. I'm going to look at some of the places that Crowley stayed at, right? You've got one in London. I'm not going to give the number. I'm just going to say the road. Blythe Road. Though he was interested in the occult from childhood, that was his first place into organised magic. However, not everyone was a fan. The London chapter, which had already found faults, but that was one of the house. And then you've obviously got Boleskine House, Which, see, when you look at it in a picture, in a black and white picture, it looks bloody stunning. It looks absolutely stunning. This was steeped into the darkness for him, long before Crowley moved in. The manor itself had originally been built. The manor is originally built to stop atop the ruins of a 10th century church that was burned to the ground during a service, which killed all its congregants inside. Then Crowley bought it to seclude himself away and be able to perform magic. The Book of Sacred Magic, it was during that period that Crowley became famous for his occultism, and black magic, both around Scotland and later the world. Sometime during this period, mayors called Crowley to Paris and he left without dispelling the 12 kings and dukes of hell he'd summoned, and many locals blame the house's unlikely history on evil spirits left behind. First, Crowley's housekeeper, 2 children, died mysteriously and abruptly. Crowley also bragged that one employee of the estate who had a long alcohol problem got drunk and attempted to murder his entire family. After the house had changed hands, it still wasn't free of the energy. In 1965, the army major who owned the house committed suicide by shotgun. The next owner was Jimmy Page. Now, Jimmy Page spent very little time at that home, at that estate. It was a friend who didn't mind the unexplained creaks, the groans, and the various ghostly apparitions. But he was bothered by Crowley and Page's fans, who frequently attempted to break into the house and defile the grounds. Later, the owners dismissed any notions of hauntings or witchcraft at the house, but in 2015, the residents returned for a short trip to find the house completely in flames. Now, see, when I'm reading this to you guys, I'm getting a sense of there's something. So obviously, clearly before Crowley had moved in, there was already a fire beforehand. That obviously to that church that killed all the congregants. And then obviously my thoughts is then Crowley has built a house there and there was another fire. So what does that tell you, right? And this is what my thinking is, right? They're right now they're trying to rebuild Boleskine House, right? And when I read this, there's a part of me that thinks that's a very fucking big mistake. If there was a fire before the church, a fire with Aleister Crowley, a fire with Jimmy Page, then why the fuck are you going to build something that's probably going to go on fire again?
Well, if you build a crematorium, you're sorted.
But it's nuts. It's really nuts when you actually sit down and read the history. It is nuts. They're planning to make it an Airbnb. Is that true? I don't know, Kat. But that is nuts if they're going to do something like that. Definitely. I'll go through the comments very active. Right, after all hail Krampus. Definitely. I was told he visited Bradford as well.
Yeah, probably.
Crowley travelled the world.
Many places he didn't.
Are you reading from a book? No, it's information already. Like, I know, like, it's credible. Common people have a tendency to attach the word Satan to magic they don't understand, like they did with the name of the witches. They certainly did. Lewis, after the year from hell, I had to go to your locations, spent with Eileen. You Dawn Paranormal booked up. Do you know what, Kat? You really, really deserve a a change of luck, darling, definitely. There is definitely something there without a doubt. Land-related stuff, definitely. Without a doubt, the house was raised by vandalisms at the end. People, see, the problem is you've got people that just can't leave buildings alone and attack them. Question on fire, did the fire happen around the same time the first fire happened? I'm not too sure on that one, Anthony. But the thing is, surely when they would have read the history to say to themselves, well, there was a fire here, there was a fire there, and there was a fire here. So why just not leave the ground flat? Just leave it flat, like what they do when they knock down like places like Rose West's house.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing as well, I mean, it doesn't matter where Crowley's been, all the places he ever actually spent any time in, he's left an energy there. You can sense it. Warwick Castle, he was famous for, he supposedly brought back a woman from the dead there. But there's, if you look round the walls of the castle, you'll find a pentagram scratched on the wall. That was done by him.
Holy God.
MJ Dixon, before she was going there to view the place, before having Sage Paracon there, and she went into the Crowley room, and on the wall you've got the descriptions of the room, and it's covered in perspex. So she decided to take a picture of it so she could read it when she got home. And when she got home, she looked at the picture, and there's what looks like a young Crowley stood behind her. So she phoned the castle, and she said, "In that room, are there any mannequins?" And they went, "No." She said, "Can you look on the CCTV and tell me if anyone else was in that room while I was in there?" And they said, "No, you were on your own." So she thinks she's actually caught Crowley, a young-looking Crowley, standing in the background while she's reading this board.
Holy shit. I could just imagine. Alice's Bolskin just attracts bad energy and dodgy types into vandalism. It's absolutely terrible. Has anybody looked at Olmax to check the land? Do you know, see, after doing this show tonight and reading that, I am quite tempted to check the old maps to check the land, because to have 3 fires already in the exact same spot, that's not just fate, as we say. There was years between the different fires. There is an energy about the place. I wouldn't stay there, and the graveyard gives me goosebumps. It's creepy being there. Do you know, it's one place I would love to spend the night in. Just love to spend the night in the grounds, just to see what it's like. Cowley's pentagram, 6-sided star, definitely.
Yeah, and he also, because of his obsession with Egyptians, I didn't find this out until I came across a book called The Dark Pilgrim. And he also used to use the 4 elements as a square and spirit in the middle, but raised up. So it represented a pyramid.
Holy God. He's sure thing. We actually have Bolskin House on my friends list, and they have, in my opinion, done a great job restoring the place. Good luck to them. Do you know what, William? I'd definitely say good luck, but I'd be not surprised, and this is no me being morbid or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a fire.
Yeah, I would expect the insurance assessors would be very high on all health and safety at that place, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely 6 points. I could check, but don't know the address. It was after the grab. I just don't like it. I can imagine Kat just made it. Hey Dave, hope you're well. But definitely, I mean, his magical career came to a peak when he was in Sicily. For a small amount of money, he and his 2 lovers and their small children went to this one house in Italy. which was nuts. I mean, I suppose each to their own. They called it the Abbey Thelma. The common room was dedicated to magical rituals. Funny enough, goblins were involved in what we were talking about earlier on. The private room was used for psychoactive drugs, which gave terrifying cinematic life. I can imagine this guy was an absolute riot.
I can tell you it was a riot. I actually know people who knew him.
Jesus.
I've actually spoke to people who actually knew him. My mate's mum knew him when she was a young girl. She said he was a bit split personality. He could be all right 1 minute and then quite funny the next. Person I worked with at the school, her husband's family were big friends of Crowley's. So I've actually, she brought in a letter that was actually handwritten by Crowley, and I actually held that.
Oh my God, holy shit. That must have been amazing just to see that bit of history.
Yeah, it was a bit bizarre thinking, blimey, he actually wrote this. But,
that would have been. Bill says, I was just going to say he used the pyramid a lot. Some say he started the Illuminati. We all leave energies in places we visit, so we need to be careful as we know he's been there. So maybe if you want to, you will feel that his energy. It's just a thought. For even fire elemental, goblins and gremlins, William says it's the known that scares people, and the people that you are the ones you should avoid, in my opinion. Definitely, William. The problem is a lot of people are very, very ignorant when it comes to dark side of things. Split personality, I think they call it bipolar now. No, they don't. They call it EUPD or BPD, but I only know that because I've got it. I actually would love to time travel so we could go back. Definitely, I would love to time travel. If I could time travel, I would definitely love to see Crowley in action. Definitely. Not with the sex magic, because I would be a wee bit what the fuck sort of thing. But I'd love to see him in Boleskine House.
You'd probably frighten the life out of him.
He'd probably be like, she's just as evil as I am. Listen, if I could take somebody with me, I'd take you with me. You and me together, hand in hand.
Well, if we take the DeLorean, I'm fucking driving because you ain't.
Well, what's that? You say left, I'll go right.
You do know the steering wheel's on the other side, Lois, don't you?
Oh, is it? Fuck. That's unscrewed. I'd be crashing. I never want to become famous. I'd rather be infamous. I can imagine. But I do believe, see, when it comes to that side, it is very, very misunderstood. And I think that's just a lot to do with ignorance.
Yeah, I mean, he probably didn't help himself as well because, I mean, if you believe what his son says, he made a lot of stuff up just to sell a book sometimes. So that probably didn't help.
Probably didn't.
You know, but there's certain books, 100%. But if he was tight of money and he needed to write a book quick, you know, how do you know how much of that book was 100%?
Bye, Bill. The thing as well, I've got to love is when people do things right, and they, like, for example, somebody who kills a sheep, right? You could kill them because they're just bad bastards. but the media will put them down as Satanists. Satanists done it.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you... your pal.
Yeah.
That's your pal, Ian.
Yeah, well, Bill, I'm infamous for giving him what for on Twitter, so I've already become infamous.
Well, the thing about it, my buddy, no, not your buddy, it's Ian's buddy. They're best pals. They're always sending Christmas cards to each other.
Yeah,
No personality. I can't spell it. I've got one of those, but I never tell myself. There was an old book written by Crowley in 1898, I think. He was feeling sorry for himself. He had an affair with fellow Cambridge undergraduate Herbert. And it went wrong. So there was a book that did come out about that. But Crowley was all for everything. We all have a dark side to create a light side. Fuck, love, light. Fuck, love and light. Definitely.
You can't have one without the other.
Exactly. And I've been in many groups where their jaws drop when you say to them, like, do you like the dark side? It's that automatically, oh my God, you're going to hell. Bye, sort of thing. And it's like,
looking into the dark side doesn't mean you're practicing Satanism, does it? I mean, I've researched the occult mainly because of Crowley, but you tell people that and they suddenly think I'm, burning chickens, in the woods at night. And
hi, Linda. We're talking about Aleister Crowley and such things. I know. Is that automatically? I had my eyes open when I read about Aleister Crowley, to be honest, and that's where I think my intrigue for the dark side started. It was that kind of thing. I really, don't get me wrong, you wouldn't catch me dancing naked in the woods or doing any rituals.
I certainly wouldn't catch you dancing naked in the woods because I wouldn't go to the woods that night, that's for sure.
You cheeky fuck. Asshole. Hiya, Sarah Louise. While Bill says, let's just say if he was on the side on the road on fire, I would not stop to piss on him to put him out, but if I had a can of gas, I might stop doing You're something else. Blackbeard's not schizophrenia. I'm bipolar, I know my personalities. I've got EUPD. But see, I'm not close to schizophrenia. Well, no, that I know. But I would recommend MD, absolutely anyone to look at the dark side. Definitely do your research. Have an open mind. And I see it a lot in the paranormal when people talk about Ouija boards or talk about the dark side. There's this automatic, bin it, do this way, do that way.
Yeah.
And I always say, have an open mind. When you're doing the Ouija board, right, it's how you intend to use it. If you intend to use it like a fucking idiot, then you get what's coming to you. If you use it in the right way, in the respectful way, then you'll not have a problem.
Yeah, Cliff Jones has hit the nail on the head. He says you have to learn of the dark side so you know what you're up against and be able to defeat it. Exactly. It's mainly why I know so much about things like that, because I'm a private case investigator. So if you don't know what you're dealing with, you can't deal with it.
Exactly. I always say there was also a bit of a social society butterfly hobnobbing latch on to him, definitely.
Oh, yeah. The whole reason he frequented my house is because my old house is because the people that lived there were pretty rich, and he was known for socializing with the like rich widows, and I can get you in contact with your husband, and that's the sort of guy he was. He was in with the social crowd and the money people. I mean, the house I used to live in was owned by Isabel Blackman, who is very well known down here. Her whole family, in fact, the area the house is in is now called Blacklands. Now they've built on it modern day houses. It's now a big part of Hastings, but and it was also owned by the local newspaper owner. So that's how we ended up living there, because my dad worked for the newspaper.
Eric, oh great, now I'm going to have nightmares tonight. No my fault if you don't sleep, bloody Ouija board survive. Nice chap, misunderstood very often. And that's what I say, Dave. If Lois was naked in the woods, I would run. Fuck's sake, asshole. Ian, what do you do to raise your vibes? I wouldn't want to ask him. I know what he does.
Music works with me. Being an ex-DJ, I have a very big love of music, and I have a very vast collection of music. So that's always what I do to raise my vibration. And if I'm in a bad mood, I'll listen to music, and it'll cheer me up. And music's always the key for me.
Can I just ask, out of curiosity, seeing your music collection, have you got Dave Rose the stripper?
No.
Well, that's fucking shit.
No.
Cliff says.
I've got the Anti-Nowhere League.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just.
Their famous B-side, So Fucking What.
I knew there was a catch-22 with this.
Yeah, if you'll have to look it up on YouTube and hear the lyrics. You'll love it.
Oh, do you know what? My thing right now that I really do like, the song that I really do like now, is Dillygaff. The guy from Australia that sings Dillygaff. He's a comedian, I think. And just the song lyrics is so funny, because Dillygaff, do I look like I give a fuck? Oh man, I think that song's so funny. Exactly. I'll try know any spells, Cliff, in that book. So would Satan. That's a cool.
Book of the Dead.
Thanks very much for the day. Sorry, honey, on you go.
I said I thought that the Book of the Dead's in the Vatican, and we'd have to go and nick it first.
Well, I'll send you listen to some Hellhunt. But yeah, he's definitely, without a doubt, he is an interesting guy. And I would recommend everybody to read about him. At the end of the day, we all form our opinions. But what I would say is, if you're going to do the paranormal, you've got to be very, very open-minded. Extremely open-minded. Because if you come in...
It's a very good thing to read other people's books on Crowley as well. Especially his son.
Definitely, without a doubt. But definitely, it's one of the ones that he's an interesting guy. Kat says, music, heavy metal is my vibe. He phones in to help me to de-stress before investigating, as I was apprehensive before going in with no name team. Listen, music, I find music really, see when well, it's not really necessarily if I'm down or anything like that, but I love listening to music myself. I love just zoning out. I've actually subscribed to YouTube music, so I've got all my music downloaded, and depending on the mood set, I'll listen to pretty much anything, to be fair. I'm actually getting into all sorts. That sounds so bad. Classical FM too. I'm getting into all sorts, if you really want to know.
It's funny, because when I was my early days in the paranormal field, I didn't realise a lot of the music I was listening to was quite spiritual, which was bizarre. So I was really into the Shaman, and you listen to a lot of their lyrics. They're big believers in the universe and the spirituality and all that, and it's all in their lyrics. I didn't think about it until years later.
Nice bit of Perry Como. Listen, there's nothing wrong with Perry Como. I found myself, right, I play this game and it's got a radio station with all the old tunes. And do you know what? The one that I'm quite attached to right now is Rocket 69. And I'll find myself bopping along singing to it. It's one of the sort of, no, that sort of 69, Ian. I just seen your facials.
Yeah,
it's a true song. Do you know what? I'm going to prove to you it's a true song. I'm going to send you it.
Skeptical Believer likes the Shaman. I was at ProGen 91.
Definitely. It's great we all have different opinions on him and the paranormal stuff, and definitely, and it's one of these ones that you can discuss. Hi guys, sorry I'm late, but don't worry about it, you can watch us and catch up. But my music taste actually ranges, to be fair. It really does range. I quite like Elvis. I quite like Elvis. Like some of his songs. But Mike and Wayne,
taken in by Elvis, I don't know why.
I just like some of these songs, I don't like them all. I like the way he done Silent Night. But I really, as I said, my taste range, because I can go for Elvis to say Florence and the Machines, and then to Marilyn Manson, and then to Nickelback, to something else. And do you know what I find myself too that I really do like? See theme tunes off of films, like 28 Days Later. I really like that wee tune. And I like the one for Requiem. Elvis is overrated. Fuck you. I like Elvis. Do you know what? I like Leonard Skinner and all.
Who?
Sweet Home Alabama. Freebird. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
You are that old. Don't you think you're 21?
I'm not old enough to remember. Well, I only remember it because it kept getting played on the radio, but I wasn't around when it came out.
Disturbed is my all-time band. That is a good choice. Good choice. I actually discovered Leonard Skinner when I was watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, and it came on at the beginning of the film, and I'm like, I actually quite like that song. So see if I like a song for a movie, guaranteed I'll go and find it.
I'm just laughing at Skeptical's comment.
Bloody hell, how old are you, Low 65? Fuck you, you arsehole. Do you know what? I'm not talking to you, Baldy. Cheeky bug cunt. I am 20. No, I'm not 20. Fuck. I'm 35. In about how many days? 14 days. 2 weeks. 2 weeks tonight, and I'm 35. So
why do you listen to that old music then?
Because I feel like, right, I'm being honest, right? I feel like an old person trapped in a young person's body, and also trapped in a young person's body.
The thing is, you're younger than my daughter, and you listen to songs I never even heard of.
Well, told you I am a weird chicken.
Yeah, I told you you're demons. You've been alive 500 years. You're just kidding us on, you're 35.
Listen, I'll come back for you and haunt you cunt. 44 today, you're only 21. I says you're a bearing. Thanks. Mark says 35 Jesus, I must be 21 then. Fuck you, arsehole. But yeah, as I said, my music taste does range from all different. From YouTube, that one. Oh, I didn't know that. Also, music is a lot better than the music now. Tell me about it. Lois, I can listen to all songs too. Don't know the bands or something. It's really, really good, Kat. Well, guys, I'm sorry I have to cut the show tonight early. Ian has got to pick up his wife, so I'm going to make sure that he's not late. On Monday, you've got the Dark Mirror Boys. Next week, we are going to be talking about a very interesting subject. We are going to be talking about Skinwalker Ranch next week. It'll be a really, really interesting one because I'm fascinated with Skinwalker Ranch, definitely.
Which means you've got a week to watch all the episodes of the new one.
Oh, you can see me staying up to.
So you've got you're on the 4th series, Lois, so you need to catch up with 3 in 2 episodes.
Oh, thanks very much, Master. Would you like me to do anything else? Polish your shoes, make your coffee?
No, just research, Gil.
Screw you, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Same here. Charles has always been an old soul. Good night, my darlings. You too, honey. You have a fantastic weekend, and I hope your boy is doing well. I was lost at the sea in the 1840s. That must have been scary. Nice to see Lois and Ian again. Oh, Skinwalker Ranch next week. Why not? Dinosaurs has. Do you know one of these things? On you go.
Lois used to have a pterodactyl in a budgie cage when she was a kid.
Fuck you, it was a T-Rex, you motherfucker. Have a good evening. I've seen clips look very good. My boy's doing amazing. I'm really, really glad, Kat, because I watched these. I was very, very proud of these. Keep him up. You too, my lovelies. Everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe and have a double drink for us. See you later, folks.